my crew. We do what we wanna do. This here might not be for you. This what we wanna be. Up in the sand in the sun. Cannons and guns.
Yo ho ho guys, so we're looking at Rita for our Hyper Thursday. I believe we'll be looking at 2 hypers this Thursday, but either way, first things first, we're looking at Rita. So Rita is considered a striker, but she does not play like one. She plays like an assassin, and once you have that mindset down, and I mean you actually have to have that down, you'll be able to play her pretty well, I think. Anyway, let's look at her standard attacks. Her standard attack with this gigantic shotgun, because that's what it is just a quick shot. It's just a quick, fast shot. The range on it is what makes her play more like an assassin than a striker, because the range is not that high. Most strikers need a lot of range because they're squishy. The thing about Rita is she has a lot of in and out, and I'll show you what that is in just a second. Could I increase the level real fast? And then we'll go over her skills. So her A, double tap, is exactly how it sounds, guys. Just double taps the enemy. Now that can be chained inside of her standard attacks. So just your standard attacks, and you can double tap. You can chain it like that to get 3 quick shots off real fast. And if you do it in sequence, it just flows really well together. Alright, now her Q. Excuse me. Her Q is her combat slide. She slides forward up to 1,000 units using a regular attack stops her. And it fires a shotgun blast, doing 80 plus 100% of regular attack as a critical hit. So you're guaranteed a critical hit if you slide and shoot. Now remember, when you slide, when you shoot, it stops her. You also get an instant shot again with your standard attack if you press it once more after the slide. So slide, shoot, shoot. Alright, now there's a quick combo with that. You can slide, shoot, shoot A, and there you've done 4 hits right out of the gate. And her blast is not stopped by the first person hit. Her blast hits everybody in the area. So if you do that properly, you slide, shoot, 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 you just hit you hit the hyper you were aiming for and people behind them as well. That way, if the tank is in front, like Gillimer would be in this case, you're hitting the tank and the squishies behind them. Now her next skill is her W, her recoil shell. She fires a huge shotgun blast, and this blast is big enough to shoot her back, basically, moving Rita back up to 600 units, doing 80 plus 100% regular attack, and reducing movement speed by 45%. So I'll show you what it is, and I'll show you how you can chain it. So the W makes her slide back like that. There are a few ways to chain this. Say, for example, you want to get in and out quickly. You could Q, shoot, W, all right? Or if you want to get in and out, do some damage, and then slide on back out, Q, shoot, A, W. Now I just unloaded on that person, just nothing but shots in their face, right? But there's also the chance that you did it, and you want to slide back in, and then you can do that. You can W, Q, and unleash the old combo. So W, Q, slide in, standard shots, and then your A. Now, the hardest thing with her is getting her to stop appropriately on your slide by your shot. As you can see, I missed him a few times because I don't main Rita per se, so I will miss those. But once you get the hang of her, you will be able to land those pretty quickly. Now, the A, this is something that's important. The A is the same range as your standard attack, right? So just know that. It's not going to increase the range or anything like that. The next skill that she has is her E, her Paleron shield. It creates a shield that absorbs 329, 261 plus 68 damage for 7 seconds. So the shield lasts a while. It doesn't absorb a whole lot of damage, but that is, early game, that's a great amount of damage to absorb. Now we're going to talk about her passive real quick. So outside of combat, you can crouch for 0.5 seconds and it'll move you into stealth mode. Now people can still kind of see you. They don't see you this well, but there is a visible cue in the game. So after someone's been playing for a while, you know, if you go up against someone that's been playing the game for a hot minute and they kind of know the visual cue, don't be upset if they do in fact kill you, because they can see you're there. This also does not negate any damage that you get once you're inside of this. Now once you're inside of it, you can still be hit. So it doesn't give you a shield or anything like that. Proccing your shield does not take it off. Proccing a shot does not take it off. Proccing a skill does not take it off. Just so you know, all those things do not take it off. Now once you hit, excuse me, once you hit someone, it still does not take it off. So your invisibility will still be there regardless of all those things. Now the last thing that she has for her skill set is her powered suit. It boosts Rita's suit to its limits, granting the following effect. And she also gets her helmet on. It's pretty cool. Attack speed attack speed plus 35%, move speed plus 10%, and critical rate plus 10% as well. It ignores all restricting effects. Ignores them. And stealth for 0.5 seconds. So you don't even need to proc your stealth. If you want to use it, just press R, and then you have all that increased right there. It's just an insane amount of burst damage. That's basically what it's used for. Now let's get into what her item build is. I play Rita when I do play Rita very aggressively. So I take my Solder's Greaves, point into that, and it gives me a little bit of health, life steal. That's helpful. Now, the only unique item that I use on her is the Extinction Protocol because it gives me defense bypass, additional critical rate, and it empowers my powered suit. It reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds and grants additional attack speed by 35%. So that's pretty freaking broken. At least in my opinion. It's not actually broken, it's just very nice to have. Now, Breath of Fire is a must-have on her, in my opinion. You can build however you want, I always say that, but Breath of Fire is always good to have on her. So this is what it does. It gives you attack, max health, and crit rate, and move speed plus 5%, but it's the unique thing about this item that makes it so wonderful on her. After using a skill, any freaking skill, your next regular attack within 5 seconds will inflict an additional 100% of your attack damage. I will show you what that looks like. So we already know that the slide, because it looks like a really cool explosion, but we already know that the slide grants you a critical hit on your next attack. So you can slide in, excuse me, you can slide in, and that procced off the slide shot, because the slide count as a skill being used, and then your first shot is the shot that procs the passive on it. Now the passive on Breath of Fire is only a 2-second cooldown. Alright, so let me show you what this is going to look like in a combo. That is what that would look like in a combo. Like, it's ridiculous. And it procs off of anything, any skill that you do. Any one of them. As long as you're aware of the cooldown time on it, you're golden. Just absolutely golden. The next item that I have on her is Plasma Cutter. Now, normally I have these set up in the way that I built them, and typically this is the way I would build them. Now, why I have it on her is because of the unique thing on it as well. Yes, it gives attack, max mana, and defense penetration. You won't really burn through mana all that quickly, because her skills are not that high cost, 20, 15, 20, and 15, with her ultimate being the most expensive one, being 40, so you won't really burn through mana all that quickly. But this grants a bleed. While attacking, you inflict 70 additional damage per second for 3 seconds. So at 70 per second. Alright, so bleeding is happening. Look at that. Now he has defense, of course, so it doesn't count for that. But the next thing that we have is the Assassin's Guitar. You got the defense penetration. Now we're getting somewhere. So if you got tanks that are kind of really just slapping on you and just making things really rough on you. So this gives you defense penetration, critical rate, move speed, and when critical rate is at least 60%, it increases attack by 35. Now, let's see. That's critical damage. My critical rate is 45% right now. I'm not full build. The next item that I have is Dragon's Bane. This also increases my critical rate. Off the first one, my critical rate is now 50%. Not bad. What's the key here? 60. So we're going to do it again. We're going to increase it. We're going to increase it again. And we're going to increase it again. Now, when this is done being fully maxed out, it increases critical damage by an additional 20%. That's wonderful. So your damage is being done at an additional 20%. Now my crit rate is sitting at 60%. Bam, I hit what I needed to do to get this to do its passive. Then, of course, you're going to want to get your boots as soon as you finish your first item, in my opinion. That's usually how I do it. Unless you're really ahead, then you can, get your second point in your boot, Unless you're really ahead, then you can actually play around with the items that you need to get. But don't get cocky in that regard and end up, kind of throwing for your team. But anyway, this is pretty much how her kit looks. And once you understand her in and outs, her way to go in, and to actually keep yourself safe, what I would typically do is if you want to engage on a team that doesn't know you're there, pop your stealth, pop your shield, slide in, throw down some damage, and there you go. Now, if you don't kill them off your standard attacks and your skills, the bleed from Plasma Cutter usually does the trick. Well, anyway, guys, that was Rita for you. I'm going to try and get another one pumped out here as soon as possible. But you have a great morning, day, noon, or night. Get a good cup of coffee, tea, milk, water, whatever it is you're drinking to make your day a little bit better. And thanks for coming by this ship and having so much fun with me. See you guys again next Thursday for Hyper Universe.